Welcome to Sissues. We are two sisters with issues and a need to work them out, and we're inviting you along for the ride.
Here we are taking the big things we have in common. Our love for Outlander, inappropriate humor, and why people do the things they do. Mix this up with our dirty lady mo's, and this podcast is born.
But don't worry, we'll explore other issues too.
Because you know,
when you have sisters, you have issues.
If you are easily offended or don't appreciate the creative use of colorful Canadian cursive language, this is not the podcast for you.
Well, it is a jolly holiday, isn't it, in this beautiful, wonderful country of Canada?
This is weird. You're not like screaming into the mic or being
right
pitched or anything. People are going to be like, okay, this time Phyllis is stoned, not Sherry. What's going on?
I'm so not. I'm just tired. I've been all over Timbuktu today, so that's the only reason.
I didn't know Timbuktu was in BC.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's in the rainforest. You know, it's kind of like Sasquatch. You haven't seen it, but you know it's there.
And hi everybody. This is Sissues, and I'm Cher,
and I'm Phil. Welcome to our wonderful world of crazy. You know, kind of like, you know, Walt Disney's, you know, Wonderful World of Disney. This is Wonderful World of Crazy.
You know.
You know what? We should have a logo.
There she goes. There it's back. There's the pitch. There's the loud. She's back.
We should have the castle, and we should have Tinkerbell flying over, and then all of a sudden, you know, like a plane comes in, or she breaks a wing and just like all the way to the bottom. That would be a perfect logo for us.
She just killed Tinkerbell, and she thinks that that's the perfect logo.
No, I said like that. I didn't say have her specifically.
You said,
like her. Okay.
You said have her crash.
Sherry, listen, you are taking us so off course here. You know, we need to get back on track. I need to reel you in all the time.
Holy fuck. Can you believe this? People, really.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, we're back to our Outlander rewatch. Season 4, Episode 8, Wilmington. Woohoo! All right, Cher, did you want to count us down? Make sure that you get your episode ready. You want to skip the recap and go directly to the song.
And I will count you down, and I do this when I get to 1. That is when you are going to press play, and you have to be ready, because sometimes I go really fast, like 3, 2, 1, like that. And it starts.
Yeah, so...
I told you to be ready.
I was, thank God, because I like anticipate this now, because you don't tell me what you're going to do. You just like go and do it.
Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's goofy, sometimes I'm just really normal.
Look, my frog has hemorrhoids.
Yes, your frog. She has this frog that she plays with, and it's not real. It's like one of those frogs that she pushes and its guts come out its arse.
Yeah. Well, it's only because I still haven't replaced my silly buddy that turned into gum.
She shouldn't have chewed it.
I didn't chew it. It's, you know, it lasted 3 seasons. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, we had a little funeral for it, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah, poor thing. So yeah, I got to go to the dollar store. There's just not one here on the island, so I have to go to another
island off the island.
Island off the island.
Island off the island.
Alrighty, well here we go.
Wilmington.
Still can't believe we're in season 4 already. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get this show on the road.
We're over halfway.
A show that is not on the road. It's a stage.
Hey, the last time I went to a stage show was with you.
Yeah, and my friend Lisa.
Exactly. And
it was
Kevin.
Her first time ever watching a theater production, which was super cool. We went to see A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I liked that one.
It was beautiful. It was so well done. And that was in Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Roger is in Wilmington finally, off the ship.
Yep. And he's searching for Brianna, going around showing the picture that they got drawn at the festival that they were at.
Grandfather Mountain.
Yeah. Have you seen her? Have you seen this lassie?
Because she'd be easy to spot,
right?
You know, with the hair for sure.
But of course, here her hair isn't straightened; it's curly as hell
because it's natural. Mm-hmm. That's why.
Yep. She didn't use iron. She couldn't bring a plug-in iron.
No, exactly. He looks,
getting frustrated.
Downtrodden.
Look at the paper. There's the
Wilmington
paper
Gazette
that the obituary was in.
Yep.
So he knows he's getting pretty close.
Yeah.
No, you're the arsehole who printed the obituary that dragged my ass back here, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So... exactly. Well, and I love after this interaction what happens. You know, I like it's like so close and he doesn't even know. There's Fergus.
This is Fergus. Here's Fergus and Roger meeting for the first time. And oh look, this is my lord's daughter.
Yeah.
Like, nope, don't know her. See you later.
That's so funny that he's seen it and like, no, don't know her.
And John Gillette, you wank, you put this obituary out there, and it just threw everybody off.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Marcelly. Here we have for Sally.
Yeah.
Hashtag for Sally.
I wonder if later on, because they don't address it in the series, where Roger comes back, does Fergus ever recognize the fact that I could have told you we had her?
Oh, and here we are with they didn't have her Jimmy. At that time, right?
No, exactly, right. No, they didn't. But I wonder if he recognizes Roger later on. He never said anything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And here we go with Grandpa and Grandma.
Can you believe it? The grandparents already?
Yeah. So sweet.
Yeah, it is. Aww. Yeah, go get lunch. I'm hungry.
Marcelli and Claire's relationship.
Yeah, it's definitely bloomed, and in just this last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love the Fergus and Marcelli dynamic as well. And you can tell how soft Marcelli has gotten because of motherhood, but at the same time, she's not just softened; she's fiercer.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of women are like that, right?
Yeah, they've got that double edge now. Like yes, loving and nurturing, but they will cut you.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people, like a lot of the fandom, would really like to see a deeper side of their relationship.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, I want to see those two go at it in season 6. Give me a hot sex scene with Marcelli and Fergus, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see more of their relationship because Diana didn't dig deep into those other relationships, but they become such a part of the story.
I know, most of the sexuality that she showed between Fergus and Marcelli was kind of odd.
Yeah.
like it was always like when Marcelli was like giving birth, it would be like Fergus going in there and playing with her nipples and stimulating her, or when she was engorged, he would relieve her and breast milk, and it was those kinds of things. It was never like we'd never get like some good on full on sex scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was always those kind of. And here we go.
Kind of like poor Roger.
Roger's giving up on Brianna, and
boom,
whose voice do we hear?
Who is it? Can you imagine what she's thinking as soon as she sees him? It's just like, goosebumps. What the hell?
And, oh, man. What? Who do I see in front of me? It takes...
Roger.
It takes her a minute to process, but it's like she grabs onto him for everything that she is.
Yeah, and he just has this sense of relief on his face.
And then she's like, what the fuck
What
are
the
you
hell?
doing here?
I told you not to come.
And it's the both of them that are like, and I think the main reason why, and I don't think this show really made it super clear, but in the books it was, where Brianna didn't want him to follow her because she wanted him to be in the past in the future where she could go back to him.
Yeah.
Right? Where she
and I
had
think that's
something
what
to reach.
And I think she anticipated that. She didn't want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Her whole intent was just to go and warn her mom and Jamie, right?
Right.
That was all. So, but I think she wrote. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I feel so bad for Lizzie right now because she is only going off what she is seeing.
Yeah.
And she is 100% correct in her assumptions.
Exactly, right? And but what I like about how they shot this scene is you're seeing it from Lizzie's perspective, so she doesn't have to be talk about what she's seeing. You're already seeing it for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So it's good for Brianna, but all Lizzie sees is this bad thing, right?
Yeah. She only sees conflict. That's all she saw was 100% conflict and fear. Brianna getting dragged out. Yeah. Them yelling at each other, and then Brianna getting dragged away.
Yeah. See, I think he's looking at her like, how the hell do I get you undressed? Where do I start?
And the thing is, too, with these guys, it's they always have had this super, up and down relationship where they don't communicate very well. Yeah. They're fire and ice all the time.
But they always have that chemistry, always feels like it's on.
Yeah. They're like a super hot burner.
Yeah.
Right. And it's, you have to remove them from the pan. Yeah. Like remove them from the flame to cool them off. Yeah. And whenever you're removing them from the flame, it's because they burned too hot, too fast, and they got themselves in trouble with each other. And then removing them from the flame altogether means that they aren't talking, they aren't communicating, they aren't doing anything. So it's, I think that's the best way for me to describe Roger and Brianna as a couple.
But you have to think about it. I was sitting here thinking as you're talking, and I'm going, oh, but I love, seeing them now and where their relationship is. And then I jumped back. Hey, you know what? Jamie and Claire had the exact same relationship. They would argue, but then when they were together, it was like passionate, and they had the same until they grew together as a couple.
Right. Yeah. And let's face it, Roger and Brianna had a very different courtship, right?
Absolutely.
It's a really long, really dragged out, and, like they had years of getting to know one another before committing to one another.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Jamie and Claire knew each other a very short time before being thrown together.
Exactly. Right? And she had to overcome a different introduction into that century rather than Brianna and Roger. They had much different travels, like much different experiences.
Yeah. Going to the theater.
Snotty McSnotterson. Yeah. But Tim Downey is so freaking hilarious.
He is. He plays this role really well.
This guy, I don't know why I see him as a stick man with curly wieners on the side of his head. I just want to draw him, just stick man and curly wieners on the side of his head.
He is such he's a bit of a gomer.
Yeah, exactly. And they call him a soldier, and I'm just thinking, must be smart soldier.
Well, back then, a lot of soldiers bought
Yes, they did.
their rank.
Yeah.
And that's Samuel Collings, who plays Edmund Fanning. And of course, he has a hernia that's popping out.
And they treated things a lot differently back then. Everything was smoke up your arse will make you feel better.
Yeah, bleed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoke up it, you know.
I remember back in the episode when they were back in Jamaica, we were talking about the wigs, because remember Galis was wearing one.
Yeah.
And I did find out later on that it is a symbol of stature within the community.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I like her little choker there with the two little daisies on it. It looks very pretty.
You like a choker, do you?
I like...
I don't think we've ever heard you mention that before.
No, I said I like it on her. It just looks pretty. I don't think they're daisies. They're kind of another type of flower. But it's cute.
Man, it's just your dressy dress. I like her dress.
Yes.
It's very simple, understated, and, you know.
Isn't that the same one that Jocasta dressed her in, where she said, doesn't she look too sallow? I think it's the same one.
I don't know.
Possibly.
Quite possibly could be. I don't know.
I was just looking at it because it was kind of separated in the front, and the gown that Jocasta gave her was also as well.
Quite possibly.
And I love this part where, George Washington, like, look at her eyes. Who is that?
Yeah, well, that would be really exciting. He is so friggin' tall. And of course, George Washington was very tall.
Yes, he was. I think he was like 6'3" or 4 or something. He was like tall. Yeah.
And Simon Harrison plays George Washington here, and Elizabeth Appleby plays Martha. In book 8, Moby, George Washington does make an appearance. So
does he?
Yeah. Oh. So I don't know if they're going to, we don't know if they're going to continue. Right. I would like to see them be able to do the continuation of that, because it was one of those things that, Jamie was kind of like Brianna would have kittens if, she knew he met George Washington kind of deal. But
we were going to the dump today, and off to the side they have this, they call it the dump mall or whatever. It's where things that are still working, still good, you put there and they sell, and 100% of the proceeds go to charity.
Yeah.
And I found A Breath of Snow and Ashes, a hardcover. Ashes. The first thing I did was go through to see if it was a signed copy.
Oh, geez.
Because I've been seeing so many pictures on Facebook of people finding signed copies in thrift stores. So what do I do now? Right. Go into a thrift store and head right to the book section.
I've got a few signed copies that I was, there while she signed it.
Right, exactly.
But still, that'd be a nice thing to find.
Yeah. I thought so. I like we had this conversation a long time ago. I like the hardcovers.
Yeah. Get your hands out of the fire.
Right?
So this is a really great little place for Roger to find for them. I'm just assuming that Roger found it earlier, and
hopefully.
And it was all kind of like, oh, this is a little place that he rented for the evening, and now they're doing their little hand fasting ceremony.
Oh, see, now you kind of did something like that, similar to Kevin and I. Instead of using a scarf, you used a piece of rope. So and it had a dragonfly on it.
It did. It had a dragonfly, and
I have it in my living room.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Good. That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, and I didn't tie the rope. because the symbolism was that you two weren't bound to each other.
Yeah.
In that sense, that you were free to love each other, and because you had to,
right,
but because you wanted to.
and I think that's what they're doing here now, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Roger is very much more traditional than Brianna is. Brianna doesn't have a whole lot of traditions in her life.
But she believes this is a marriage just 100%. As much, just as much as Roger does. And that's something that, I really enjoyed the well, they call it in the fandom world, it's called the shed shag. But it is sweet.
I love how they're looking at each other. It's just like, they both truly mean it.
Yeah.
So nice.
I like how he, and I think this is a bit of foreshadowing for people that have read the books. The way Roger leads this little thing, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So it's just a beautiful touch, and Brianna and Roger, I mean, they're not everybody's favorites, but I absolutely adore them.
I do too. I love both of these actors. No matter how close or how different they are from the book, I think for this series, they are perfect. Just my opinion.
Yep. And you know what? They really did a great job of making this whole thing work. And Lizzie you can imagine Lizzie would be beside herself with worry.
Right? Of course.
Like she has not been without Brianna for a moment.
Well, and you can imagine she's feeling also a little bit scared. She's somewhere different, right?
Yeah.
And
terrified.
Exactly.
She watched Brianna get dragged off by this guy who she'd never seen before. And Brianna looked like, she was fighting with them, and all of a sudden she gets dragged away by him. She would be terrified. And
I like how they start having this conversation about the regulators.
Yeah.
And Jamie's just sitting there. Okay, what can I do? What can I do? How can I warn? You know what I mean?
He knows where Murtaugh is. He knows what they're doing. He gets that, and he doesn't he understands the regulator's point of view. He gets it. So he and then when he hears that the soldiers are going to be arresting some of these guys and probably not treating them very well, he takes that for himself. He's like, okay, this ain't going to be happening on my watch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's good that little stick boy beside him, is in pain.
Hernia.
Right? Jamie's so mean,
Oh, he's a wily.
He is.
He's also, he takes the opportunity when the opportunity arises. And it's a good thing that he's got a wife that knows how to play the game.
Exactly. He didn't have to say too much for her to just understand that something needs to be done.
They have this, what is it called when you understand somebody that
intuition,
without them having to say too much, third hand speak or something like that.
Read your mind.
No, that's not it either.
Sixth sense.
Second hand.
Smoke.
No. I can't come up with you're just making it worse because you keep on saying things that are wrong. Man, somebody else will come up with it and send me a message. And there we go. Now, my husband and I have definitely come to the conclusion that Brianna or Sophie Skelton has the finest ass on
You can't argue
TV.
that. You just, she's really thin, but she's also very petite.
No, she's
right.
That's it. She's petite. She has
She is
like
just
the tiniest
very
waist.
petite,
Mhm.
and
But
she has a booty.
The roundest, perkiest,
Yep.
most beautiful bum. Like, it's just perfection. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's not sexualizing her.
No.
That is not, in any way doing any of those things. She just has the perfect bum. There's,
Yep.
and
She should be a bum model. You know how they do
legging commercials or
right?
like any
Yeah.
like any jeans or dresses to drape over the bum. She would be perfect.
But because she's so short and so tiny, they would never consider her a model, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's nuts in itself, because she does like the backside of her in all ways is perfection.
I tell you, I gotta give it to actors. Like, for him to be sitting there in front of her and his hands going up and her not blushing or like, oh my God, like, kudos to them. I don't think I could ever do that.
But that's
just
the beauty
wouldn't
of
be able
being
to.
an actor, right?
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, kudos to them. So,
and especially when they've got cameras, like,
yeah, it's
right
not like
there,
they're
and
just doing it by
people
themselves.
standing in the room with them, and you know.
It's a little bit more of a closed set for sure,
but
you know, where they only allowed like 20 people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a closed set, right?
Right. Yeah, there's still a big handful of people in that room with them. So it's not, And then we've got Roger getting naked.
Yeah.
Along with. And see, we've got some, like, that's the thing about Outlander. You've got something for everyone,
right?
When it comes to body shape and especially with men, because Roger's doesn't have the same kind of body that Jamie does.
No, he doesn't.
He's a little bit furrier, so you can warm up to him a little bit more, and
he's like he's got like almost like what they say is a dad bod.
No, he doesn't.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I would prefer that all day, every day, over someone that looks better than me.
But I don't. I think that I really don't like that expression. I think that's what turns me off the most.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't like that expression. I think it's icky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that might just be it.
Well, this is her first time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is.
I like that he does this. I like that he stops and makes her feel his heart. And
that's straight out of the book.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about the act. It has to do with the act, but it's showing her that it's more than just that to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That this is something that he passionately wants as well.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were really uncomfortable with this scene, because watching Brianna and Roger having sex, like like TV fans and stuff like that too. And I think I can explain why. Jamie and Claire, we saw as just older people, like even in their 20s. That's how we saw them. We were introduced to Brianna and Roger as children first.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
So we've watched them grow up, so to speak. So that's why I think some people have that cognitive dissonance. So they have trouble going, oh my God, I'm watching these people having sex now, where I saw them as kids first. Yeah. So,
and I could see that being being in the back of your mind.
Right. And I think some people didn't even get that. Like they didn't even understand that might have been why they were having issues and being a little grossed out by watching Bree
Right.
Roger have sex.
Understandable.
Mm.
And I'm not sure, is this guy supposed to be just a poet or?
Well, see, this is kind of the way that theater was way back when. It was like people in the audience would actually banter back and forth with the, you know, like the hecklers of today kind of thing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Which would not seem like fun to me.
Murtaugh's waiting. They're waiting for the stage to come through.
Yepers. Kind of reminds you of back when Jamie was with the Comte Saint-Germain and, you know, Murtaugh was waiting out there. But that was more of a setup where this is, you know.
Exactly. Oh, and here's where everything goes hell in a handbasket again.
Sue, this is just...
I know.
Sometimes you just wish you could put words back in your gob. But
in the same token, in that same conversation, it didn't have to go the way it did.
No, it doesn't. But
it didn't.
But the problem with these two...
It always does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It always does, because... they let their emotions, you know, it's that reaction. Yeah. And they, you know, instead of saying, you know, instead of explaining how they're feeling, they just feel. Yeah, exactly. Right? And not taking into consideration each. Like, he should have told her. Yeah, he probably should have told her. But I think she just took it to way further than what it needed to be as well. I don't know. I think they're both at fault, but still, it didn't need to go that way. They don't start fighting right away, do they? Doesn't he? Oh. Yep. Yeah, because he mentions something about seeing the article, and then she starts losing it. What do you mean you didn't tell me? You told Fiona? Fiona did? Oh, I know. I thought he went down on her first. He already did. You missed that part. I missed that part. Okay. Yeah, you missed it. We were chit-chatting. We were doing a podcast, sister. I know. Sorry. When he was asked, curious as to what color her hair was, and she's like, it's really... And he sticks his finger all over her mouth to hush her. I totally missed that. Oh no, she's going down on him now. See? Downtown. See? Yeah. Well, yeah, she's going. They didn't start talking now. Oh, but as soon as she's done, they'll get straight to arguing, because that's just how they roll. It didn't happen yet, so neener. I like that stage. It's very fancy. Oh, see? Jamie's looking. He's like, this might be my opportunity. I know what I'm gonna do. The wheels are turning now. Claire has no idea what's going on in Jamie's mind. Yeah, she's just like, I wish I wasn't in between these two women. Jamie, you're so mean. Oh, you're so Jamie, mean. You're so crafty. He's just mean. Like, I can just feel this guy's pain. Well, not only that, but he could, like, he probably would have exploded anyway. Yeah. No, he needs a surgeon. Claire's like, I'm a surgeon, but what a day to wear cream. Right? Exactly. Oh my gosh. She's wearing the lightest gown in the whole place, and she's going to be keeping this guy in a few minutes. So whoever's going to operate on somebody in the middle of a theater, it's going to be Claire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, see, the difference was in the books, Claire was at Jacosta's, and she was operating on John Quincy Myers' testicles. That's so special. It was. His testicular torsion. This is now he had some kind of growth. Look, it's Frodo. Right in front of Jamie. Frodo. Yeah, it is. Oh, no, he's gone. No, he's gone. Yeah, it looks like him. Jamie disappeared.
Crazy. I love all these dresses. I would love to be able to try on one of these dresses.
I'm afraid I'd never get out of it.
Right? I know. I like that little picture that that lady sent to you about Snow White.
Beautiful.
Wasn't that awesome?
It's an Outlander Snow White crossover. I'll stick it on our podcast page.
Yes. Yeah, please do. I need one now for Cinderella.
Yeah, sissues.ca, and then just go to our podcasts and stuff page, and I'll throw it up on there today.
That's awesome.
I'll throw it up on there, and it'll be there anyway. Whatever.
Martha.
So he's getting a ride with George and Martha.
Yeah.
Now, see, when you say George and Martha, it doesn't sound like it's very regal at all, does it?
No, it doesn't. Jeez.
So Claire is back to bossing everybody around, and
in her element,
looking at her like, what the fuck is this lady doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and even Try On is like, seriously? Are you gonna cut him open like right here? We got to get a doctor. Like, where's the doctor? And
Try On looks
I'm a
like
fucking doctor.
Yeah, he just looks like, what the heck? What can I do? I don't understand what's going on.
She's like, I'm a doctor. I can do this shit. You better get with the program.
Yeah, exactly. And you're the king of all men, so you need to get your ass over there and help him. You need to only you can calm him down. He knows you. You need to be his support.
Giving him a job and making him look important, she knows is the only way to get him on side.
Exactly. Because he's a little bit full of himself.
That's what we've learned. And at least Claire was like in that mindset to know that the only way that she was going to get this guy to play nice was to blow smoke up his ass.
You got that right. But he's no longer going to have to do that because it will no longer apply.
Well, it won't be him.
I wonder what that was like for people to have like I look honestly. Like, can you imagine, guys, right now, like taking a puff of your cigarette and blowing it up someone's asshole?
Well, that doctor's going to come in a few minutes and suggest that very thing.
I know, but come on, think about some of these prehistoric ways of treatment.
Well, they probably had a tube, and they shoved the tube up there, and
they did.
Yeah.
How many people shat through that tube? You know everybody did.
And backed up into
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, right? Oh, maybe that's where that came from. Boom.
Quite possibly.
Right? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Oh, that's what that means. Right up into your arsehole as a treatment for everything.
And now he's promising him his own friggin' house, and he's promising him this and that, paid for by the people instead of like, come on. That's
my God. Oh, look. Can you imagine doing that when people are alive?
Yep. Shoving his guts back in.
Shoving his
hernia back in the pocket.
There we go.
Yippers. Can you believe that? I promise you all of this stuff.
That was really exciting, he says.
Yeah. Make way. Here I go.
Yeah.
What are you doing, lady?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm already done, you dickhead.
Yeah. But she's not paying him any mind. She really doesn't give a crap what he thinks. She knows what she did was right.
Yeah.
Smoke up the rear.
All he needed was a little smoke up the rear. He would have been good. Excuse me? Pretty sure if you blew smoke up his rear, would have popped out that hernia a little bit further.
So where does
and it would have been full of smoke.
I wonder what that did to the insides.
God.
Yuck. Okay, let's stop talking about it.
Smoke flavored poop.
Yucky. Reminds me of that tea or that coffee that people drink that goes through monkeys.
Yep. Let's not talk about that anymore. So here they come to get the regulators. Yep. Have they got the message?
This guy's supposed to be the bait. He's supposed to be the one that starts, but
there's Claire sewing.
She's got ketchup on her fingers.
Wah, wah.
And he's knocked out from the pain. Like he's not relaxed, people. No. He's not sleeping. He got himself knocked out from the pain.
Yep. And they're like, wow, she's a good sewer shutter.
Right? Exactly.
I'm impressed. And Tryon's like, I think I want to vomit, but I can't vomit in front of all these people because they're quite impressed with her.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, okay, all you people. Yeah. She's
crazy.
Like, I did.
Bravo, Claire.
Everybody clap.
Bravo, Claire.
Bravo. Claire. We're done.
Excellent.
Jolly good.
Most
Jamie got here just in time.
Yeah.
To see her, save the day. And I hope that Fergus got there in time.
Yeah, let's hope
make
so.
It.
Did he? I don't know. We've only seen it like 60 times. Not sure if we know if he made it or not.
Who is it? Fergus. Oh, and this is the first time Murtaugh has seen Fergus.
Yes.
He's like,
exactly.
What the fuck? Fergus? My little boy.
Right?
He's like, you can't do this. Well, they're coming for you.
And I know that Murtaugh doesn't know that many French people, so it was kind of obvious, but still.
Well, still, Fergus, like, they picked somebody that really did look like little Fergus.
Yes.
So it's not a hard jump to make. And when he said "Milord," and like it just clicked. You could see the click on Murtaugh's face.
Yeah. Exactly.
That they got it, that he got it. Like, and you could see his face soften from, 100% revulsion.
Yeah.
To, like, what are you doing, to pure softness. Like, this young man is Fergus,
Well, I'm glad that Murtaugh didn't even second guess him.
Not for one moment.
That's the honor of these men. Your guy tells you something, you believe it 100%, and you don't hesitate.
Yeah, the connection that he had with Fergus as a person too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Instantaneous trust.
And I love that. Why didn't my godson come and tell me myself? Oh, he's at the theater. Sorry.
Yeah. It's like that's
the theater.
Yeah. And they just had this ease together.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah. And back to these two again. Now see if we get the scene right this time.
Well, I know they're gonna just like.
Now let's just listen to what they're saying.
No, because we can't just listen. We're doing a freaking podcast. We have to continue talking.
Well, we can.
Well, you continue talking.
Listen.
Just take a drink of water.
We can kind of listen. Yeah, it was the date. No.
Yeah, as soon as his eyes open, that's perfect timing, sister.
Like, I want to take the words that I just said, and I want to put them back in my mouth.
And you see, she should have just listened to what he was saying. He should have just told her, "Oh yeah, I seen it too. That's why I called you, because I wanted to see if I wanted to let you know." Instead of saying, "Oh, it's been this many weeks that I knew and I didn't say anything."
Yeah. And I talked to Fiona, and she said,
"But he's just being honest, right? He's just being honest, and I don't think people should get in trouble for being honest."
But at the same time, people also should kind of think of other people's feelings first.
But he didn't want her to be in any more pain because he was there firsthand when her mother left.
Yes, but that's not his choice to make, is what I'm saying. And she's right. That's like, you can't it's up to her if she wants to do that.
Sure.
So
and I get that, but he hesitated. That's all he did. Remember, the only reason he knows that she's there is he was calling to tell her. He decided, you know what, she needs to know. So he called and she was gone. Bye-bye. So he just hesitated. But that's what Roger does. He hesitates with everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then she had a right to be mad. But then when she got upset, he said some pretty mean things. She said some pretty mean things. And then that's what happens. They both say things when they're mad that they don't mean. And both of them get really hurt by it. So they are both equally wrong.
Yep. Agreed.
Both times. Like, they were both wrong at the cabin at the festival.
Yep.
And they're both wrong now. They're equally to blame because they both get so wound up in their own anger.
Yeah.
You know, that they can't see straight.
Yeah,
you know?
Agreed. And they're going from one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
They're going from just married, having passionate first time together to I hate you, leave, go out of my life. Like, there's just no happy in between for these guys. It's got to be, they're like these swingers.
And then when they say one thing, then they'll say one thing and the next person will take it and like amplify it.
Yep. You got
so big, and the other one won't say that's not what I said. You know, they'll just they'll amplify it bigger. Then the next person will amplify it even bigger. Instead of downplaying it, they make it huger and huger, right?
Yeah.
Instead of reeling it in, and that's their problem. Their problem is communication. They both fucking suck at it.
Yes, they do. Well, because it really hasn't, he's been a part of this experience for her, right? They're both all on their own, right? And he handles it much differently than she does.
They have never, either one of them, had role models for good communication. Neither of them have been taught how to communicate.
Right.
That's why they can't. You cannot put a butcher in front of an engine and say, fix it.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't put two people who have never been taught to communicate properly in front of each other and say, make this relationship functionable.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening with these two. They just don't know how. But both of them are so passionate, and they're both so emotional, and they're both so stubborn. That when they get going, they just rile each other up so much. And that's because they are so passionate, and look at her. She's like, her stomach hurts. She's like grabbing on, like she's in pain. Yeah. Right. And he's leaving. And I don't think he's meant to leave for good. I think he meant to leave to cool off, to get out of there and then come back. But by then, we know it's going to be too late.
Yeah. Well, I love this part here. He said, I saw him leave, and he looks at Jamie, but Jamie's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, see me leave? Oh, no, I was talking about Washington. Whew.
Yeah. Thank God. And it's so funny how he says you can't trust him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's true because in the end, Washington does end up being,
don't say.
Oh, it's fucking history, sister. It's not
don't
me.
Say. Don't say.
Literally history.
I'm not that far in the books yet.
It's not
Thank you
books.
Very much.
It's like not the books.
It's not in the books?
It's in the history books.
Okay, don't.
Wanker.
Just don't tell me.
Oh, look at her. My heart is breaking. Bree. Now, see, this is so difficult.
Yeah.
And we know because of the way TV works is things are condensed.
Yes.
This story did not happen all in the same night.
No.
In the books.
It was weeks, wasn't it?
It
I think it was
It wasn't the
weeks.
same night. So
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
a lot of people were really upset with that choice.
But I think
At the same time,
I think it adds to it as well. I
there's
think
a layer that it brings that makes it more devastating.
absolutely. And I think that's the whole point behind a drama series is
Yeah.
for it to be, because ideally she wouldn't even be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it
And
doesn't make
what
sense.
she sees is her mother's ring. And in the books, it was a gold ring.
Yeah.
But it was the gold ring on Claire's finger. But gold ring would be very usual, like more usual than a ring that looked like that.
Yes.
So
because how would she know if that was her mother's ring?
And this is her naivety.
Yeah.
Right? Where she thinks she can just buy it and get information.
Yeah.
This is Stephen Bonnet. He is a horrible human.
Yeah.
So we have this moment in the series, which is beyond vile.
Yeah. And, I know people questioned after this scene, why they didn't even show anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, later as it continues, they do have flashbacks, which, this series is known for. And I think really important that they show those pieces and those snippets when it makes sense within the story. They don't have to show everything when it happens. Well, and what's going on.
Oh, so. and that's part of the problem. The thing is that with Sophie Skelton and Ed Spiliers, they filmed the whole thing.
Yeah.
They spent a day doing that scene. And Ed had said that, for a show that doesn't ever shy away from this kind of thing, that what he felt really bad for Sophie.
Yeah.
For having to have gone through that emotional draining scene.
Yeah.
Because she chose to go into the disassociative state while doing that, initially fighting, but then going into that disassociative state, which what they filmed Claire doing in season 5.
Yes.
Now this picking up the boots and putting them to the side instead of going to help her just made me sick. But anyway, he said that he felt bad for her to film that whole thing and then never to show it.
Yeah.
Because to him that was disingenuous.
Yeah.
He felt badly that he, like, as an actor, he has to do this scene.
I know.
Right? And
that's tough
take
too.
A day to film it and never show it. Like he felt that it was, there was a part of him that was upset with that.
Yeah, and I get that.
And he shared that with us at Outlandish Vancouver, and I can understand that too. I mean, that would be really difficult.
Yeah.
And I understand the producer and director's choice in the end. However, I can understand his compassion for Sophie and his ability as an actor, and not that he wants to glorify rape, but that no, this show has never shied away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it did speak much louder, I think, in this particular scene, that the door was closed, everybody in the next room still partied, still was having fun, heard her scream, struggle, try to get away, and didn't do a fucking thing to help her.
Yeah.
Because that kind of thing still happens in this world.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just,
my heart broke when she is just like took the ring and went up the stairs. And she was, she had both the best day of her life and the worst day of her life
all in
within the same day.
Isn't that crazy?
It's heartbreaking.
That's so hard to watch, and I get it. I just couldn't imagine.
Hysterical. Oh, the things people put in their orifices, huh, sister?
Like, let's not talk about that right now. So
that's exactly what we're talking about.
I know. Well, this is one of the stories we saw. So my sister made me shove a ton of M&Ms up my nose when I was 3 or 4. She promised I'd be able to blow them right out and that they definitely would not get stuck. Well, turns out they did get stuck, and we had to go to the ER, where they melted what they could by using hot compresses and got the rest with forceps. And that was by Amy Robinson Vogel on Facebook.
Can you imagine all this chocolate snot?
Well, you would be smelling chocolate for days. Like, and that's a huge cavity. Like, what about the ones that she didn't shove in like 2? There's a whole lot in there. Mm-hmm. And at that, how can you get them in when you're so little?
Oh, Chase, my son, he shoved like 10 peas up his nose one time. It's just he used to stick stuff up his nose before he ate it. It was the weirdest little freaking thing he did.
Can't say that any of my kids shoved anything up their nose, but my middle son Dustin used to eat pennies. That's not how you get your copper, honey. Like, it's through a vitamin or something. That's supposed to eat the pennies. He had
those little gummy bears, and he used to like stick it in his nose and then eat it. Like it was like dip or something. I don't know.
Poor guy. Oh my God.
What he did, he shoved like 10 peas or 9 peas up each nostril while he was eating supper one day. And it was just like, what the? So blowing them out, it was like, how many did you get up there? 9. 2. And we're like, okay, there's only 7. What the hell? It just kept on getting, so 8. And just keep on counting them as they're coming out. At least the kid knew his numbers.
Well, that's good. That's a bonus. You know what, guys? Why don't you tell us about any stories you know about these things that shouldn't be shoved in your orifice? Hey, and you know us, we're open to any kind of story.
I don't want to hear about the hamster, okay?
Okay. Oh, but that would make for good listening. So remember, no, stop it. So go to sissues.ca, share your story, or you can also visit us on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Stop snorting. Jeez.